Hello everyone. In this presentation, we're going to be taking a look at working drawings, how we take everything we've learned and put it together into a final design that can be used for a project. So let's get started. So working drawings are the fully descriptive drawings that you need to manufacture or construct whatever it is your design might be. So this is something that you would complete at the end of the design process when you know what the finished product is going to look like. So your working drawings are going to include assembly drawings that show how everything goes together. It's going to include a parts list or bill of materials showing all the different components that go into your design, as well as detailed drawings, which is what we've spent most of the semester working on. The detailed drawings give us the full shape, description, details with the dimensions and materials and all that good stuff to create all the individual parts of your design. So the assembly drawings are typically done after the detailed drawings are completed. So you know what all those individual parts of your design are going to look like, and now you can show how they all go together. One of the things that is going to benefit you from creating those individual part drawings first is that you can use by copying that geometry from those drawings into your assembly drawings, as you'll see when you complete the tutorial today. Sometimes you might include some overall dimensions for the assembly drawings, but typically they're not necessary because the dimensions are included in those individual part drawings. If you have complicated designs where there are a lot of parts, a lot of assemblies, you might have sub-assembly drawings. For example, if you were designing a car, you wouldn't create an entire car off of one assembly drawing. You'd have sub-assembly drawings for all the different systems of that car. In an assembly drawing, you're going to see that here's the example that you're going to create in the tutorial. So in the assembly drawings, you're going to have balloons. The balloons are those liters that have numbers connected to them, and those numbers are going to reference the parts list that you have in the corner of your drawing. That parts list can be put in any corner of the page, whatever fits best, works fine. Assembly drawings are not always section views. I know that's what you're going to see in your tutorial, but section views are only used if necessary. As the designer, it's going to be up to you to decide what kind of views are necessary to best show how the product is assembled. So it might be a section view, you might have auxiliary views, it might be just traditional orthographic projection, or maybe even an isometric drawing. Again, you're using the same sizes of sheets we've talked about earlier. Using standard sheet sizes, sometimes you may find that you need to use larger sheets to be able to fit the assemblies on properly. In a standard layout, you're going to have the border. You might have a revision block showing which version of the design, if you have updated versions. You're going to have a title block, and you might break the page into zones with larger size sheets. Your title block should contain this information. So you'll notice that there is more information here than what we have in the basic title block that we created for the purpose of this class. But in addition to the name of the company and the name of the parts, you should also have signature spots. So signatures for people who complete the drawings, signature for whoever's checking the drawings, approval of the drawings, as well as the scale and drawing numbers for those drawings. Some additional types of drawings that you might see include exploded assemblies, which help to see how the parts fit together. You might have weldment drawings for things that are welded together, as well as structural drawings or schematics. We'll take a look at some examples of each of those. So here's an example of an exploded view of a chair. So you can see here, instead of having the parts shown as they go together, they're exploded, they're pulled apart. So you can see the fasteners that are used to hold the clips onto this chair are shown as being pulled away from the part, and then we have guidelines that show us where those parts fit in as they're assembled. So these are great for creating assembly instructions. A weldment drawing is going to have welding symbols on it. So those welding symbols are going to show the techniques that are to be used when assembling that weldment. And then structural drawings are drawings that can be used for structures. So they might be used for buildings or the structures that go on buildings, or maybe the layout of a site plan like you see in the example here. They're going to include dimensions like where to place the building. You might have uh, a layout for how the foundation goes together. You might have a floor plan showing how all the rooms go together, where all the utilities go, the roofing system. So there are lots of different types of drawings that go into a structure. So if you're working in the construction industry or designing a building for some um, purpose, you're going to have lots of different drawings that go together to make up that design. Here's an example of a foundation plan and a section view of a building. So you can see that foundation plan shows where all the walls and the footings of the foundation go together in this building. And for the section view of the house, you can see that section view shows all the different parts of the house uh, and how they get put together, as well as not just the dimensions of what fits where, but also the different materials that are used. You can see instead of using a basic cross-hatching pattern, there are different patterns that are used for different materials like the insulation and the concrete. So there are a lot of different industry standards that you're going to find that are going to be useful to create these drawings and that you'll have to learn depending on what industry you wind up working in. The elevation is showing what the outside of the building looks like. The floor plan shows how all the rooms are laid out, including dimensions. So we have the height of all of the floors of a building shown in that elevation plan. The floor plan shows really the width and the length of all of the rooms and how they fit together. You might have a utilities plan, or you would have a utilities plan like electrical plans, plumbing plans. Here's an electrical plan showing where all the electrical utilities fit into the building and how the wires are going to be run throughout the building. Schematics show how things fit together. Whenever you hear the term schematic, we're talking about a drawing that doesn't look like the finished product, but it's a way to show how all of the different components of a system fit together. So a fluid power schematic could be used for a hydraulic or pneumatic system, and you can see there are lines showing what's connected to what. So you're going to see valves and reservoirs and all the different components that are used in the fluid power system, and it just shows how they connect together. It doesn't look like the finished product, but it shows what's connected to what. They're very helpful when designing as well as troubleshooting a fluid power system, and you'll see these with electrical systems as well. So here's an electrical circuit schematic showing all the different components in the circuit and how they're connected. So those are some working drawings and some examples of different types of drawings that we haven't really created in this class, but you've learned the CAD skills to be able to create them in AutoCAD. Just like what I had talked about in the last topic where we talked about how there's add-ins for creating welding symbols in AutoCAD. There's also different versions of AutoCAD, like AutoCAD Electrical, where you automatically have blocks in the AutoCAD system that you can just drag and drop. So if I'm creating a circuit schematic, I don't have to create this from scratch. I can just drag and drop all the symbols and then connect them using the drawing skills that I've already learned. So these are not things you would ever have to draw from scratch in AutoCAD, but you can certainly use AutoCAD to create these designs. All right, that's it for our last presentation of the class. When it comes to creating your last project, your project for this unit, you're going to be creating a full set of working drawings. Refer to my next video on creating sheet sets for how to create a set of sheets. Your project is to create a full set of drawings. So you're going to decide what individual part drawings you need, what you need to communicate the assembly, and you're going to put that together into a sheet set. So this is like your final project. It's a way to show everything you've learned from the beginning of class and put that together into your last assignment. So if you need help, let me know. Otherwise, take care and good luck to drawing.